In dash, a single yarn is used to make a fabric. Well picked. Knitting is the correct answer. Fibers like dash and dashi are obtained from plants. You chose cotton jute, and it is correct. The process of making yarn from fibers are called. You got it. Your choice spinning is right. Two main processes of making fabric from yarn are correct. Weaving and knitting is the right answer. Which process do we use to convert yarn to fabric? Clear logic. Your choice, knitting, is sound and 100% true. What is the first step in obtaining cotton fabric? Right again. Handpicking is a valid answer. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon. Valid point. Reeling is true. Which soil is suited for the cultivation of jute? Nice work. You chose alluvial soil and it is correct. Which of the plant fibre is known as golden fibre? Well done. Jute is the right choice. Most of the world's high-quality jute comes from. Strong choice. Bangladesh is the right answer. Name two hand-operated devices used for spinning. On track. Takli and chaka is the correct answer. Cotton grows best in dash, soil and das, climate. Great thinking. Black warm is the right choice. Artificial fibers are also known as dash fibers. Correct response. Synthetic is the most accurate answer. Which of the following material is not lustrous? Excellent choice. Wood is the right answer. In the following, which fiber is synthetic fiber? Excellent. All of these is a brilliant choice. Which animal wool is common in Ladakh and Tibet? Solid response. Yak wool is a valid choice. Silk is an animal fiber obtained from silkworms. Good thinking. True is the right answer. Cotton is grown in which of the following states? You're right. Karnataka is the correct answer. Which one of the following is a synthetic fiber? Perfect. Polyester is the correct choice. Which of the following states cultivates cotton? Right choice. Tamil Nadu is the best answer. In which of the following state does jute grow? Nicely done. West Bengal is a solid answer. Dash fibers are used to make carpets, nets, etc. Great job. Hemp is the accurate answer. Fabric is made up of fine threads called dash. Nice selection. Yarns is the correct and valid answer. The process of removing the fleece of the sheep. Bravo, shearing is the answer. Which of these do you think traps the most air? Smart move. Wool is an accurate answer. Which is the second most important after fiber? Or? Good job. Your answer, jute, works well here. Which of these states does not grow jute plant? Exactly. Gujarat makes sense, and it is right choice. What is the another name for synthetic fibers? Well reasoned. Man-made fibers is the correct choice.
The part of the plant where cotton is obtained.
Smart pick. Seed is the correct choice.
Usually cotton is dash, picked from the plants. Sharp thinking. Hand is the right choice. From which part of the plant cotton is obtained? Correct. Fruit is the right answer. The sequential order for making fabric is dash.
Solid response. Fiber yarn fabric is a valid choice.
The plant which contain fiber on their seed is
On track. Cotton is the correct answer.
What is the other name of coloring of clothes?
Smart pick. Dyeing is the correct choice.
Jute is made from which part of the jute plant? Well reasoned. Stem is the correct choice. Vertically placed yarn on the loom is known as great thinking. Warp is the right choice. In ancient times, people used dash as clothes. Excellent choice. All the above is the right answer. Process of getting fiber from cotton balls is You're right. Ginning is the correct answer.
The larvae from the eggs of silk moth are dash.
Exactly. Caterpillars make sense, and it is right choice.
Which soil is best for growth of cotton plant?
Valid point. Black soil is true. Pick the synthetic fiber out of the following. Good job. Your answer nylon works well here. Natural fibers are obtained from dash and dash. Nice selection. Animal and plants is the correct and valid answer. The fiber-containing part of cotton is called correct response. Cotton ball is the most accurate answer. Second most widely used fiber after cotton is well done. Jute is the right choice. In which soil and climate cotton plant grow? Right choice. Black soil, warm climate is the best answer. Rearing of silkworm for production of silk is well picked. Sericulture is the correct answer. Silkworms spin their cocoons during the dash. Good thinking. Pupa stage is the right answer. Coconut fiber. Nice work. You chose coir and it is correct. Which is not involved in the making of cloth? Sharp thinking. Jute is the right choice. By which part of cotton plant we get cotton? Smart move. Fruit is an accurate answer. Which of the following animals give us wool? Excellent. Camel and Angora rabbit is a brilliant choice. Jute is obtained from the leaves of a plant. Nicely done. False is a solid answer. Who is one of the largest producers of wool? Great job. Australia is the accurate answer. Dash is one of the major producers of silk.
You got it? Your choice, Japan, is right.
Why is white core used to make fishing nets? Strong choice. Resistance in salt water is the right answer. Which of these states jute plant is grown? You chose Assam, and it is correct. The process of retting is used in obtained. Bravo, jute fiber is the answer. Which of these is not a property of nylon?
Clear logic. Your choice absorbs water is sound and 100% true.
What is the scientific name for upper arm?
Right again. Humorous is a valid answer.
Which fiber is used for making gunny bags?
Perfect. Jute is the correct choice, which is not a common device for spinning. Right again. Looms is a valid answer. Out of these, which is not a natural fiber?
Great thinking. Nylon is the right choice.
Who is the third largest producer of flax? Strong choice. India is the right answer.
Synthetic fibers wrinkle and dries easily.
Well done. False is the right choice.
Vermicomposting is done with the help of...
Nice selection. Redworms is the correct and valid answer.
Muscles are attached to the bones by dash.
Valid point. Tendons is true.
Which country is leading producer of wool?
Nice work. You chose Australia and it is correct.
Coconut coir is an example of dash fiber. Excellent choice. Fruit is the right answer.
The finest wool is obtained from the dash. Clear logic. Your choice merino sheep is sound and 100% true.
Cotton is obtained from the cotton bolls.
Good thinking. True is the right answer.
Dash is a fiber obtained from jute plant. Excellent. Jute is a brilliant choice. The largest producer and supplier of silk.
Smart move. China is an accurate answer.
Soaking of jute plants in water is called.
Smart pick. Correction is the correct choice.
Which of the following is made of cotton?
Exactly. Khadi makes sense and it is right choice.
Ginning is used in the extraction of dash.
Correct. Cotton is the right answer.
Which state is the main exporter of jute? Well picked. Bangladesh is the correct answer. Jute is popularly known as golden fiber.
You're right. True is the correct answer.
Only natural fiber obtained from insect. You got it. Your choice silk is right.
The common name of coconut fiber is dash.
On track, coir is the correct answer. Cotton plants need dash climate to grow. Correct response. Warm is the most accurate answer. Dash is called the golden fiber in India. Good job. Your answer jute works well here.
Which fiber is obtained from flax seeds?
Great job. Linen is the accurate answer. Identify the fiber obtained from animals.
Well reasoned. Wool is the correct choice.
By which part of jute plant we get jute? Nicely done. Stem is a solid answer. Process of cleaning raw wool is known as. Solid response. Scouring is a valid choice. Spinning is the process of making fibers.
Right choice. False is the best answer.
In which leaves are caterpillars placed?
Bravo. Mulberry leaves is the answer.
Which is the main wool yielding animals? You chose sheep, and it is correct.
Simple devices device used for spinning.
Sharp thinking. Both takli and chaka is the right choice. After spinning yarn are used for making.
Perfect. Fabrics is the correct choice.
Which animal is the main source of wool?
Solid response. Sheep is a valid choice.
Silkworms are fed on pulses and grasses. Well picked. False is the correct answer.
Weaving of yarn makes a piece of fabric.
Smart pick. True is the correct choice.
Wool does not trap air in between them. Clear logic. Your choice false is sound and 100% true.
From spinning cotton yarn we can obtain.
You got it? Your choice Coddy is right.
Fibers that are not obtained naturally.
Sharp thinking. Nylon is the right choice.
Is natural fiber better than synthetic?
Good job. Your answer yes works well here.
Rayon is also known as artificial silk. Right again. True is a valid answer.
Silk is obtained from an insect called. You chose silk moth, and it is correct. Classify the following synthetic fibre. Great thinking. Polyester is the right choice.
Silk is first developed in which country?
Great job. China is the accurate answer.
The process used for taking cotton is. Excellent. Ginning is a brilliant choice.
Yarn is woven to get fabric using dash.
Perfect. Looms is the correct choice. Which of the following traps more air? Bravo. Wool is the answer.
Process of removing fleece from sheep.
Smart move. Shearing is an accurate answer.
Coconut fibers are mainly used to make. Nicely done. Ropes is a solid answer.
Which is the longest bone in our body? Strong choice. Femur thigh bone is the right answer. Jute and flax fibers are obtained from. You're right.
Stem of the plants is the correct answer.
What is the process of fiber to fabric? Well reasoned. Ginning sming weaving is the correct choice.
In which process a single yarn is used?
Excellent choice. Knitting is the right answer.
In India, jute is mainly grown in dash.
Good thinking. Assam is the right answer.
The natural resource mixed in rayon is.
Right choice. Wood is the best answer.
Cotton is obtained from dash of plant.
Well done. Bee fruits is the right choice.
Can we make fiber directly from fiber?
Exactly. No makes sense and it is right choice.
Raincoat is made up of natural fiber.
On track? False is the correct answer.
Which of following does not yield wool?
Nice work. You chose woolly dog, and it is correct.
What are natural fibers produced from?
Nice selection. Animals and plants is the correct and valid answer.
Nylon and polyester are a dash fibrous.
Correct. Synthetic fibers is the right answer.
Silk moth feeds on which plant leaves?
Valid point. Mulberry leaves is true. A fabric is made by weaving together. Correct response. Yarns is the most accurate answer.
Can synthetic materials be renewable?
Nice work. You chose yes, and it is correct.
The disease caused by coronavirus is.
Great job. COVID-19 is the accurate answer.
The correct sequence to get cloth is. You got it. Your choice fiber yarn fabric is right.
Cotton is the strongest natural fiber.
Nice selection. False is the correct and valid answer. What is a small spinning wheel called?
Clear logic. Your choice tactly is sound and 100% true.
Jute is the outer covering of coconut.
You chose true, and it is correct.
Silk is the strongest natural fiber.
Well done. True is the right choice.
Which of these are synthetic fibers?
Excellent. Rayon is a brilliant choice.
Linen is a fabric obtained from dash.
Right choice?
Flax is the best answer.
Linen made from the fiber of a plant.
Nicely done. Yes is a solid answer.
Hair like strand which makes fabric.
Correct response. Fiber is the most accurate answer.
Number of yarns we need for knitting.
Strong choice. 1 is the right answer.
Which object does not float on water? Sharp thinking. Cotton is the right choice.
Do mulberry silk come from silkworms?
Smart move. True is an accurate answer.
Knitting is done by with the help of? Good job. Your answer knitting needle or machine works well here.
Alluvial soil can be found near dash. Bravo, Ganga is the answer.
In which season jute is cultivated? Smart pick. Rainy season is the correct choice.
The homespun yarn made on charka is.
Valid point. Khadi is true. The right time to cut jute plants is.
Excellent choice. Flowering stage is the right answer.
Silkworms feed on grasses and pulses. Solid response. False is a valid choice.
How many types of fabrics are there?
Right again. 2 is a valid answer.
What is the name of fruit of cotton?
Perfect. Cotton ball is the correct choice. Gunny bag is made up of dash fibra. On track. Jute is the correct answer.
Jute is generally cultivated during. Well reasoned. Rainy season is the correct choice.
In India, where mainly jute is grown.
Great thinking. All of these is the right choice.
Shedding is a step in dash process.
You're right. Weaving is the correct answer. The most common variety of silk is. Correct. Mulberry silk is the right answer. The sources of obtaining fibers are.
Exactly. Plants and animals makes sense, and it is right choice.
What is the process of cotton fiber? Well picked. Harvesting, ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing is the correct answer. Jute is extensively used for making. Good thinking. Gunny bags is the right answer. Cotton is the most industrial crop. Perfect. True is the correct choice. Which gadget we stitch the clothes?
Exactly. Thread makes sense and it is right choice.
Natural fibers can be obtained from. You got it. Your choice, both animals and plants, is right. Which is one of the cheapest fibers? Smart pick. Jute is the correct choice. Which one is related to silk fiber?
Solid response. Mulberry is a valid choice.
Which fiber we get from hemp plant? You chose bast, and it is correct. Cultivation of silk is called dash. Smart move. Sericulture is an accurate answer. Hand spindle is also known as dash. Bravo. Takli is the answer. Kapok is an example of dash, fibres. Valid point. Seed is true. Can fur be obtained from crocodile? Correct. No is the right answer. Straightening of fiber is done by. On track. Carding is the correct answer. Which one is known as golden fiber? Nicely done. Jute is a solid answer. Synthetic fiber, otherwise known as?
Good thinking. Man-made fiber is the right answer.
Jute is cultivated in dash season. Well picked. Rainy is the correct answer.
When and where was silk discovered?
Great job. 2600 BC in China is the accurate answer. Weaving of woolen yarn is known as?
Strong choice. Knitting is the right answer.
Weaving of fabric is done on dash. Correct response. Looms is the most accurate answer. Examples of plant fibers are dash. You're right. Cotton and jute is the correct answer. Retting is needed to extract silk. Great thinking. False is the right choice. Which is the first natural fiber? Nice selection. Linen is the correct and valid answer. Is knitting and weaving different? Nice work. You chose yes, and it is correct. Can we make fiber in laboratories? Right choice. Yes is the best answer. What process comes after ginning? Sharp thinking. Spinning is the right choice. We can get cotton from dash trees. Clear logic. Your choice cotton is sound and 100% true. Fine hair like strands are called. Excellent choice. Fibers is the right answer. The bacterium that infects sheep. Good job. Your answer, Bacillus anthracis, works well here. Coconut fibers are used in making? Well done. Maths is the right choice. To make a fabric, weaving is used.
Well reasoned. True is the correct choice.
Linen is obtained from dash plant. Excellent. Flax is a brilliant choice. The first paper was made of dash. Right again. Cotton fiber is a valid answer.
A silk fiber is strong and shiny.
Nice selection. True is the correct and valid answer.
Fabrics are made from the yarns. Smart move. True is an accurate answer. Earlier people wore dash clothes. Good thinking. Unstitched is the right answer. Silkworm secrete fiber made from. On track. Protein is the correct answer. Denim, a type of cloth, contains. Right choice. Cotton fiber is the best answer.
The fiber is not a natural fiber.
Correct. Leather is the right answer.
What is another name for lava?
Solid response. Caterpillar is a valid choice. Synthetic fibers are also called. Sharp thinking. Man-made fibers is the right choice. Silk was first developed in dash. You got it. Your choice, China, is right. Natural or man-made sources give. Bravo, fiber is the answer.
Which one is a synthetic fabrics?
Smart pick. Acrylic is the correct choice. Which category does coir come in? You chose fruit, and it is correct. Cotton and jute obtained from. Excellent. Plants is a brilliant choice. What is used to measure things? Correct response. Scale is the most accurate answer. Polyester is a synthetic fiber. Good job. Your answer true works well here. What is not used to make paper? Exactly. Tree trunk makes sense, and it is right choice. What are soil savers made up of? Perfect. Jute is the correct choice.
Fruit of cotton plant is called.
Well picked. Cotton ball is the correct answer.
Most clothing is made from dash.
Excellent choice. Textiles is the right answer.
Weaving of fabrics are done on.
Well done. Looms is the right choice.
Retting is carried out in jute.
Well reasoned. Before spinning is the correct choice. The process of picking cotton. Valid point. Ginning is true. Cotton is grown in which month? Nice work. You chose October and it is correct. Which of these is not a fibre? Great thinking. Leather is the right choice. The fibres are classified as. Nicely done. Both is a solid answer. Example of man-made fibre are. You're right. Nylon is the correct answer. Polyester is a natural fibre. Strong choice. False is the right answer.
This is an unstitched fabric.
Clear logic. Your choice, all of the above, is sound and 100% true. We can make clothes from dash. Right again. Animal skin is a valid answer. Which one is spinning device? Great job. Both and is the accurate answer. Green fruit of cotton plant. You got it. Your choice cotton ball is right.
Machine used for knitting is.
Well done. Loom is the right choice. Device used for spinning is.
Sharp thinking. All of them is the right choice.
Plant and animal fibers are strong choice. Natural fibers is the right answer.
Jute grows well in dash soil.
You chose alluvial, and it is correct. Cotton is a synthetic fiber.
Excellent choice. False is the right answer.
Wool fiber is collected from. Right again. Fleece of sheep is a valid answer. The largest producer of silk. On track, China is the correct answer. Coir is used to make clothes.
Excellent. False is a brilliant choice. Ancient people used to wear.
Well reasoned. Animal skins and leaves is the correct choice.
Rayon is also known as dash.
Great job. Artificial silk is the accurate answer.
Jute fiber is obtained from. Bravo. The stem is the answer.
In hindy thread is known as. Nice selection. Swedaga is the correct and valid answer.
Cotton is non-biodegradable.
Correct. False is the right answer. Choose the synthetic fiber. Good thinking. Acrylic is the right answer. Jute is grown in dash soil. Smart move. Alluvial soil is an accurate answer. Single yarn is used to make. You're right. Sweater is the correct answer. A dash is a natural fiber. Good job. Your answer, jute, works well here.
What is the textile chain?
Solid response. Fiber yarn fabric is a valid choice. Patson is another name for. Great thinking. Jute plant is the right choice. Silk is obtained from dash. Nice work. You chose cocoon of silkworm and it is correct. Flax fiber is called linen.
Right choice. True is the best answer.
Jute is also known as dash.
Perfect. Golden fiber is the correct choice.
What are synthetic fibers?
Valid point. Fibers made with chemicals is true.
Fabric used to make jeans. Smart pick. Denim is the correct choice. What is obtained from goat? Nicely done. Wool is a solid answer.
Yarn is made from fibers. Correct response. True is the most accurate answer.
Silk fiber is made up of. Well picked. Protein is the correct answer. Every fabric is made from. Exactly. Fiber makes sense and it is right choice. Choose the natural fiber. Clear logic. Your choice cotton is sound and 100% true. Which is a natural fiber? Solid response. All of these is a valid choice. What is charcoal used for? Clear logic. Your choice, spinning, is sound and 100% true. Birds can fly because of. Bravo. All of these is the answer.
What is yarn made up of?
Good thinking. Fiber is the right answer. Do cocoons make raw silk?
Nice work. You chose yes, and it is correct.
Yarns are made from dash.
Right choice. Fibers is the best answer.
Fabric is made from dash. Right again. Yarn is a valid answer.
Silk fiber is get from.
Sharp thinking. Silkworms is the right choice.
Yarn-making devices are.
Correct response. All of the above is the most accurate answer.
Jute plant grows best in.
Well picked. Alluvial soil is the correct answer.
Jute is harvested at its.
You got it. Your choice flowing stage is right.
Tackly is a the device. Great thinking. Spinning is the right choice.
Cotton is obtained from.
Valid point. Cotton balls is true.
A cockroach has a dash.
Smart move. Exoskeleton is an accurate answer.
Wool is obtained from. You chose all of these. And it is correct. Yems are produced from.
Correct. Fibres spun together is the right answer.
Nylon is an example of.
Well done. Synthetic fiber is the right choice.
Clothes are made up of.
Nice selection. Sea fibers is the correct and valid answer.
We can use fabrics in.
Great job. All of these is the accurate answer.
Silk is a plant fiber.
Strong choice. False is the right answer.
Nettle is used to make. On track. Nets is the correct answer.
The cotton is used for.
Perfect.
All of these is the correct choice.
Alpaca is a species of.
Nicely done. Kamal is a solid answer.
Select the odd one out.
Excellent choice. Oily toothpaste is the right answer.
Cotton is animal fiber.
You're right. False is the correct answer.
Coir is obtained from.
Excellent. Coconut plant is a brilliant choice.
A fabric is made up of.
Smart pick. Yarn is the correct choice.
Yak wool is common in.
Exactly. Tibet makes sense, and it is right choice.
Which object is opaque?
Well reasoned. A mirror is the correct choice.
Find the odd one out.
Good job. Your answer wool works well here.
Jute is animal fiber.
Excellent choice. False is the right answer.
Which is not a fabric.
Correct response. Leather is the most accurate answer.
Silk does not shrink.
Solid response. True is a valid choice.
Who invented charka?
Great thinking. Mahatma Gandhi is the right choice.
Sweater is made from.
Nice work. You chose wool, and it is correct.
Looms are related to. Sharp thinking. Weaving is the right choice. Natural fibers are.
Smart pick. All of these is the correct choice.
Humans have a dash.
Right again. Endoskelet is a valid answer.
Redding is done in.
Well done. Jute is the right choice.
Stem fiber is a. Excellent. Both N is a brilliant choice. Denim is made of. Well picked. Cotton is the correct answer.
yarn is made from.
Strong choice. Fiber is the right answer.
Wool and silk are. You're right. Animal fibers is the correct answer. Ginning involves.
Correct. Removing seeds from cotton is the right answer.
Plant fibers are.
Great job. All of the above is the accurate answer.
Silk fiber is a
Smart move. Animal fiber is an accurate answer.
strongest fiber.
Bravo. Spider silk is the answer.
Cotton balls are. Nicely done. Fruits of cotton plant is a solid answer.
What is fiber?
Right choice. Thin strands is the best answer.
What is yarn?
Well reasoned. Thread is the correct choice.
Linen shrinks.
Clear logic. Your choice true is sound and 100% true.
Snake is dash.
Good thinking. Vertebrate is the right answer. Jute requires. Exactly. Heavy rainfall makes sense and it is right choice. Linen is a. On track? Natural fiber is the correct answer. Nylon is a. You chose synthetic fiber and it is correct. Jute is a. You got it. Your choice natural fiber is right. Coir is a. Good job. Your answer fruit fiber works well here. Cotton is. Perfect. Plant fiber is the correct choice. Sheep are. Nice selection. Herbivores is the correct and valid answer. Flax is. Valid point. A plant fiber is true. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Right choice. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook is the best answer.